Before we start this video, we want to disclose that there is plenty of personal bias among the facts presented in this video. To separate fact from opinion, anytime an opinion is presented, our friend Yosef will pop up on screen to tell you that this specific segment is not to be taken as fact and rather as our opinion on whatever we're discussing. We are biased, and this video contains personal opinion. There's plenty of ways to party in Boone. There's the bars, but you can't go if you're under 21. There's frat parties, but you can't go if you're a guy. There's Boonerang, but you can't go if you're not in town over the summer. But there is one that everyone can go to, and that party is called Thaw-Out. Thaw-Out began in the 90s as a large-scale celebration of the spring organized by multiple fraternities held the weekend before finals every year. It was held at Horn in the West Amphitheater from 1992 till 1995, and although I can't personally explain what it was like back then, it sounds like it was pretty cool. But it was shut down. That is, until it was brought back by Draba in 2022 at the original Horn in the West Amphitheater location. Since then, it's moved to the High Country Fairgrounds for the 2023, 24, and 25 events, but for many, that first Thaw-Out in 2022 was their favorite.
The first year that I went, when it was at Horn in the West,
The first year was, I feel like, the best.
Horn in the West was like cool.
It was just not as fun as when it was at Horn in the West.
So now we've run into a problem. Why do people prefer the 2022 Thaw-Out when the years following were much bigger in size, artist caliber, and overall appeal?
They had local bands, they had local vendors.
it felt a lot more like a local event sort of celebrating Boone.
Chick-fil-A and Rebel, what the fuck? There's nothing Boone about that.
To me, it's more important to have the character in the heart of it there.
I just wish there was more representation for Boone.
I felt like at the first Thaw-Out at Horn in the West, it was more personalized and focused on the people that were there instead of how much money they were making off the people.
As you've just seen, out of the people we've talked to, it's about uplifting the local community. In 2022, as opposed to having vendors like Chick-fil-A, Red Bull, Kona Ice, and other massive brands, Thaw-Out was sponsored by exclusively local businesses. Literally, every single one was from the greater Boone area. And same goes for the artists. While I'm sure seeing Waka Flocka Flame jump around on stage to songs he didn't even write was a blast, many people seem to prefer when the local bands like the Coyotes, Funkel-Stiltskin, and Over Easy were the highlights of the festival. So with that being said, let's look into what people thought of Thaw-Out 2025. Yikes. Now yes, we know Yosef is not on the screen, so it should be noted that it's evident that many people absolutely enjoyed the event. But this is just to point out that plenty of people didn't.
If I could describe this year's Thaw-Out 2025 in a sentence, it would probably be like the biggest cluster of disorganization, piss poorly managed event that I have ever attended by a landslide.
My name is Jackson Keys, and my thoughts on Thaw would be potentially the worst organized event I have ever been to in my entire life.
It just felt more cluttered and more dysfunctional than other years.
Along with its local roots being much less present, the security that was advertised on the Thaw-Out Instagram page was not anywhere to be seen for the majority of the event.
We get in the line and we're waiting for so long. And then this little four-wheeler of police, I can't remember exactly how many. They were like, okay, from here forward or from here back, we're opening up a new line across the field. And I distinctly remember the cop literally going, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, to get everyone to run.
So when that happened, everybody ran to the front to form a new line, and that caused tons of people to get in without getting checked. Coolers didn't get to my friend's cooler. He literally had to force them to check it. They didn't even care.
She glanced at my phone and was like, go. She was just glancing at people holding up screenshots of whatever.
I didn't have a drinking ticket. My ticket was never checked. I walked in. You could easily walk into the VIP section or you could walk into the drinking section. There was no security.
I was not wanded. I had a bag that was not checked. My friend had a bag that was not checked. None of us were wanded at all. I didn't even see a wand, actually.
I personally bought a general admission ticket to the festival and was able to waltz in and out of not only the drinking section, but the VIP area as well. Not to mention that I was able to carry alcohol anywhere I wanted to throughout the fairgrounds, which was not allowed. Now yes, I know, I broke the rules. I'm an absolute savage, sue me. It was for journalism.
I ran into a group of my friends who are under 21. My friend's ex, who she ran into, who is under 21, had a wristband.
Well, that's another problem. According to multiple sources, the event security was so consumed by getting through the hordes of people trying to enter the venue that they started ignoring what tickets people actually bought and even ended up giving underage attendees drinking wristbands. Now, it's clear that the wristband didn't even mean much in the first place, but that's still a pretty big no-no in the eyes of the law of Thaw-Out. Now let's talk about how the event ended. Thaw-Out boasted a few school buses that they had acquired to accommodate people getting to and from campus, but for the thousands of people all trying to leave the venue in the span of 30 minutes, it was clearly not enough.
The experience trying to leave was a disaster. They didn't have like an area where people can go and wait for their bus that they claimed was running.
Our plan was to catch the bus to leave the event. And we walked out there and it was completely pitch black. There were no signs. I didn't see a bus. I didn't see people waiting for a bus. I just saw a mass of people walking up the hill.
So everyone that I talked to who was planning on taking that bus now feels like stranded.
People, of which the majority were very inebriated, were left to walk miles through standstill traffic on Robbie Green Road and Old 421 South, and once at the end of those roads, they had no choice but to walk alongside Highway 421. Yeah, a highway. Not to mention one of the most poorly lit sections of that highway in the entire town of Boone. Now, this next point is very serious, and where you place the blame is solely up to you. Mallory Mayer, an App State student and sister of the Sigma Kappa sorority, was struck by a moving vehicle somewhere alongside Highway 421 after attempting to cross the street after leaving Thaw-Out. She sustained a broken femur, multiple skull fractures, and a brain bleed, among other injuries. Please keep the Mayer family in your thoughts and prayers, and we have provided a link to the family's GoFundMe in the description of this video.
Are you surprised that someone got struck by a moving vehicle while trying to exit the event?
No, not at all, honestly.
I'm absolutely not surprised that somebody was hit by a car trying to leave this event. I actually vividly remember I looked at my boyfriend in the car and I said, someone's gonna get hit.
Towards the end of the night, I could already kind of feel that, I don't know, that there was a shift in kind of just how it felt out there. I don't know, I just had a feeling that something bad was going to happen.
I think many people, if you ask them, would not be surprised because of how it was handled.
The blame should be on Thaw-Out for the girl being injured because there should have never been students walking in the road, walking on the side of the road, because that was just waiting for a disaster to happen.
The Thaw-Out/Drop organization did not acknowledge these events for over 2 days on any social media platforms and have allegedly been deleting comments vigorously on all of their Instagram posts. We reached out to the Thaw-Out Instagram for any comments on the matter. They did not respond to us. To conclude this video, we hope to have enough time to dive into the question of who or what Draba actually is, but unfortunately we don't. But we encourage you to do your own research on the company, and we also encourage you to do your own research on the events that occurred at Thaw-Out 2025, and to not take our personal opinions as creators of this film as the truth. Do what we did. Talk to your friends, look around the internet, and form your own opinion on the matter. Thank you.